Hello, my name is Morgan Thornton, and I am a PR specialist here to represent Jussie Smollett. On the night of, or I guess the early morning of January 29th of 2019, actor Jussie Smollett said that he was attacked in the early morning on that date in the 300 block of Lower East North Street in Chicago's Streetlerville neighborhood. And it was initially investigated that he was subject to a hate crime related to his relations with being a black male and a gay male. And it was said that he was beaten up brutally and was called a lot of racial slurs related to him being black and being a gay black male. However, after further investigation, Chicago Police Department did release reports saying that they believe that Jussie Smollett did, in fact, fabricate his story relating to it being a hate crime and believe that this was a publicity stunt pulled to further his career and further his fame and his notoriety amongst his career. Despite these claims that the police department released, Jussie Smollett has chosen to stand by the fact that he indeed does not believe he's guilty of fabricating any lie related to a hate crime. In fact, he has decided that he stands by the fact that he was indeed subject to a hate crime, and he would never pull a publicity stunt in name of hate crimes related to social changes that he is very passionate about. Despite Smollett's claims, people have tended to blackball Jussie Smollett due to this claim by the police department, and they believe that he did in fact create this story as a publicity stunt. And due to this, he has actually faced a lot of backlashes, and actually in the middle of what we as PR specialists call a crisis management problem. So, in lieu of the situation that you were just made aware of, I have created a plan based off of the ROSTIR public relations model to help revamp and rebuild the brand of Jussie Smollett and help him rebrand himself so that he can come back stronger from this incident. So, as we start with planning a better remodeling program for him, I started off with research, and I indeed did find that if we do plan to conduct a private focus group consisting of people relating to his fan base and random people that do know of the situation but are not necessarily fans of him, we can find out people's current thoughts on Jussie Smollett as a whole, and we can also ask questions related to how they feel previously about Jussie Smollett. Asking them questions related to how they feel about his reputation, if they feel he is being truthful, and in his past, how did they feel about him prior to this incident happening. In this, we hope to find ways where we can find, one, challenges that we will face due to people having certain feelings about Jussie Smollett as we speak right now, and also learning what his reputation and his brand was prior to this incident, so we can somehow revamp it back to what he is known for. In our research and our diagnosis, I believe that we would find that Jussie Smollett had a reputation prior to this incident for being a profound actor starring on shows such as Empire, and also a known social change activist where he's participated in many rallies and created awareness for things like Black Lives Matter, issues pertaining to the LGBTQ community, and also gun reinforcement laws or gun change laws. In this, we would find that Jussie Smollett actually had a very, very clean image prior to this incident happening, and this incident actually could, as damaging as it is, it could really cause a big drift in him losing faith from his fan base and also driving away from that, which could not really help his career. So as a PR specialist, I also looked into previous things that have already been done by his legal team and public people that have been representing him so far. So far, what I have found is that Jussie Smollett did an interview shortly after his attack was stated to be staged with Gayle King on a major network, where many people are recalling that he seemed very emotional, irrational, and that he was having an outburst, and that still did not believe that he was telling the truth and that he was indeed fabricating this entire incident, and they believe it was a publicity stunt. Furthermore, I have noticed that the legal counsel that Jussie Smollett has hired has been making a lot of outlandish comments relating to this story, and has really been, in a sense, digging him into a deeper hole by opening and creating conversation around things that they probably shouldn't right now. And they have not been properly representing him publicly in the public limelight, and a lot of people have felt also due to this that he is indeed fabricating. So, after conducting all of this, I have decided that there are a few steps that we should take into ensuring that Jussie Smollett gets his branding back. For one, I think we should start off with another interview on a different network where Jussie openly talks about the situation over again and make sure he reiterates 4 major points. For one, in comparison to the interview prior to the interview that we plan on doing with Jussie, I do think the difference would be is that he will not seem as emotionally unstable and outlandish, making outlandish comments, and that he's having many outbursts. I think we should really reiterate 4 major points in the interview that will help renew his reputation and rebuild his connection with his fans. So number 1, the first point is that he should make is that he stands by the fact that he indeed was victim to a hate crime. Since he did say that that was the case and that he believes that, and also now since the case has now been dismissed and there are no charges to be filed, he no longer needs to step away from the narrative. He needs to continue on with the narrative that he's been given. When trying to build trust back with your public or with your fan base, it's not good to be inconsistent with your stance on certain things, especially the main point of the issue. If his stance from the beginning has been that he was subject to a hate crime, he needs to be consistent with his fan base and the public, so they have no reason to believe furthermore that he was fabricating this in order for a publicity stunt. My apologies. Secondly, he does need to issue an apology stating to his fans that although he was a part of a hate crime, he does apologize for any fabrications that may have caused them to distrust him or not have favor in him or to lose hope in him as an actor and as a person that people look up to within the community, and that he did not intend to hurt his fan base. He does need to issue an apology. People do like when you take responsibility for whatever portion that you may be responsible for. Indeed, it is of his responsibility to apologize for whatever part that he did cause in it, but remaining to not sound guilty, because he is not guilty according to recent statements that he's put out, and also due to the fact that legally he is not being charged with these crimes anymore. It's crimes of fabrication anymore. The third point that he should make is that he would never use political or social issues that are happening in this climate today to further his career and to build upon it. He should also reiterate that he is a social activist working with a lot of the movements and organizations that I named before, such as Black Lives Matter and the LGBTQ community, different LGBT community organizations, to build better social changes for those people around him. And he would never use serious topics such as those to fabricate a story to have publicity put on him. That is very important that he reiterates that, because a lot of people, as I've been also furthering my research, have also felt that he is wrong for using such a very controversial and touchy topic amongst those minority groups to further himself and his career. And it would discredit a lot of the work that he has seemingly done before. So we do want to, once again, if we're revamping and we're going back to the person that he was before and to the brand that he had before, it's important to reiterate what his intentions are, where his passion is with helping with those type of changes, especially in those particular two type of groups, and to reiterate that to his fan base that he would never do that. The fourth thing I would think is leading into also our next step. I believe the way to get all the attention off of the actual incident and put more focus into being proactive and to also align with his political activist standpoint and his brand, the way to do that is to also, he should promote a nonprofit organization that he should start in his name, where he goes and he spreads awareness about injustice related to those in minority groups. And he should really practice to reiterate that. Since we are at a good point right now where the charges were dropped and he's no longer being held accountable or being consequenced for things that speak otherwise to what he's been saying, he's at a really good place to take this opportunity to build upon it and to further do his work and to further create the brand that he has been already creating. I think that is also a great way to win back his fan base, is to continue to do the work that he's been doing before and to allow this situation to just be a mark where he can use to step and help other people and seemingly do it. The way we do this is going into step number 2, which was him creating and launching his nonprofit organization. This nonprofit organization, where he could do over the next 6 months, I would say he would just do a lot of outreach work and a lot of awareness work, not necessarily focusing on his own personal experience, but making it a point to speak on other issues that pertain to social issues that he faced, and also helping younger people discuss those issues that he's faced as well in his past. I believe that also by him showing and sharing other stories that other people have faced that are similar to his, it also does further reach his credibility and show that he indeed did not fabricate a lot, because these type of things do happen and are happening in the community, and he can use that to further his outreach. I do believe that our main goals were to create a better trust with his fan base again, and to take everyone's attention off of the incident itself, and to allow him to be blackballed so he is no longer able to prosper in his career. I believe by him taking all the attention off of the incident and putting it towards a more positive movement where he can help and impact people, and also rely on his old brand of being a political and social activist and a social change agent, that we can indeed accomplish these goals. As far as reporting and evaluating, I believe in the next 6 months we should look at the changes of people Googling the Jussie Smollett scandal versus the amount of changes that are going to be invested into people Googling his nonprofit and the work that he will be doing over the course of 6 months. And I do believe that he would not be blackballed anymore, and that more people would be prone to supporting him. Along with that, as I forgot to actually mention earlier, along with promoting the nonprofit, I think getting celebrity and political leaders and allies to support the nonprofit and support him as he stands with those endeavors would be great. For also gaining more support, regaining the trust back from the public, and moving away once again from the incident itself and building upon it to make it better. I think that these are quick, short steps that we can take to ensure that his brand will be back and moving, and that he will no longer be held in a bad position amongst the public. And I think these are great steps that we can take in order to improve his brand and revamp his area. I thank you so much for your time, and I hope you have a good day.